Okay. Trying to get the old okay. It's a little delayed. Trying to get the old a little quicker would be nice. Yeah, it's close enough. Oh. Oh yeah, we're gonna put it on the old big screen up there. Hold please. See if I can figure out how to do this. Put it on the old big screen up there. Hold please. I can figure out how to do this. Picture in picture. Kitchen please. And now the volume's on the kitchen, so I can turn that down. All right. Man, that's really small. Some weird formatting. All right. All right. Here we go. First things first. We're gonna break open a brand new package of coffee. That's right. This is the Lost Coke edition. Oh man, just when you thought you'd seen it all, right? Oh, have you seen it all? No. There's more. Don't worry. How much work would there be? Cocaine at the White House? Okay. Talk about a multi-leveled shit show sandwich. I mean, yeah. We're gonna talk about that because I think it's just funny because like the amount of I don't even know what the word is that you would use. I guess absolute bullshit involved. Like is that a thing? Can you just say like the American people are just being fed a bunch of bullshit? I mean, yeah. At first they thought it was anthrax, so they evacuated the building. Well, it wasn't anthrax. That's good. Thank God. Thank God. It was just cocaine. But, what if it had been anthrax? You tell me in 2023 the United States government couldn't nail down who could have potentially brought what they originally thought was anthrax into the White House? They don't know who that did that? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Like that. It's nonsensical. We thought there was a bioweapon, but it turns out it was just coke. Okay, well, let's pretend it was a bioweapon. Who did it? Well, we don't know. Really? So the White House has no ability to tell who's bringing in potential bioweapons. That's weird. That's real weird. That almost makes no sense. It's more likely that we know exactly who did it, and we just don't want anyone to know about it, so we're just not going to talk about it. I mean, is that a thing? Is that the world we're living in? I mean, I'm a firm believer it's either the person's cocaine who brought it and left it, or it's the person in charge of the house, right? Isn't that how that works? So it's Joe Biden's then. Is that what we're dealing with here? Joe Biden's cocaine? Because it's Joe Biden's house. It's either Joe Biden's cocaine or it's whoever's cocaine it was, so we get to the bottom of that mystery. The stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. And then, like, they invoked the Hatch Act. Like, my brain can't even. The Hatch Act, which, I mean, I'm not sure if you're totally familiar with how certain acts go. I'll do my best interpretation of my summation of the Hatch Act. You can't sit in a position paid for by taxpayer funds as a government official and shit talk your political opponents or promote political allies, essentially. Like you can't use the people's money to campaign, I guess, whatever. And they had a dude come out and said he can't talk about whether it's Joe Biden or Hunter Biden's cocaine because of the Hatch Act. It's like, what? Is that like a default? Let's see here. Is that default low-key saying that if I talk about this, it's going to be detrimental to my boss's political campaign because it's definitely his, or it's it's just like, what? I mean, it's bonkers, dude. That is the most bonkers ass shit I've ever heard in my life. I mean, beyond bonkers. I mean, I thought the transgendered individual shaking their tits on the White House lawn was peak. You got to be fucking kidding me! But no, it's not. That is not the most craziest shit. Because that was last week or 2 weeks ago that happened. That's, shit happens fast in a week. So we live in a country where men who've had surgery to become women can go to the White House, take their tops off, and jiggle their tits. And that's like okay, I guess. You can get your picture taken with the president, all sorts of stuff. Then you can jiggle your tits on the lawn. And if you're a woman that turned into a man and had your tits cut off, you can take your shirt off and show everybody your surgery scars on the White House lawn. I'm not making this up at all. I'm not making this up. This all happened. This is the world we live in. It's just like, what in the literal shit? I had never in my life. Like, I don't know when the normal times were, but if you went back to the normal times and you said, I'm going to write a story, people would be like, no. No one's going to believe that. It's just like, I mean, my favorite is, there are 0% chances that cocaine that was found at the White House could be Hunter Biden. There's no chance of it. That's what, and it's like, it's the uniparty saying it now. It's not just the Democrats. There's just no chance. No chance. And I'm thinking, no chance? I think the other like the story keeps changing, like the location of where it found, that's changed. It's like, I mean, I was always told when the story changes, that means it's a bunch of goddamn bullshit lies and everything. And that's how I was taught how to. I think I got a big side. What was that? Come on, just plug it. Come on. I think I just realized I don't have lights up. Is that? Am I? Yeah, that's true. I didn't get lights today. How dark's it in here? Pretty dark. Well, it's the darkest it's gonna be. I mean, whatever. I just think it's embarrassing that our country can't solve a caper like that. Like that's beyond. We're supposed to believe that there's no security cameras. Like they don't know who's going in and out of the White House is what we're supposed to believe. Like you would think there'd be instantly a list. Who had access? I'm not even an investigator, but like, if they hired me to be an investigator, it'd be pretty easy. Who had access in and out? Who was on video going into that room? And is there a video of the room? And if there is, who is the person who had possession? Like that's a 15-minute investigation, as far as I'm concerned. And if none of those things are available, like if there is no camera or there is no video, then that means someone's losing their job because they're not doing their job right. That's what I think. I swear to God. That's what I think. But whatever. That's why they don't hire me. Someone pointed out that like, most individuals would be scrutinized at some point a little bit entering into a secure facility like that. Like most regular people would be subject to some sort of screening. But the people who would not be would be quote unquote the regulars. So like if you lived in the White House, I don't think the sitting president and his like wife and family get pat downs when they enter the house they live in. Like I don't think that's the case. So the next question is like, okay, is there someone that's requesting said drugs? Because that could be what happened. Like maybe the person moving the drugs was about to get squeezed, right? About to get pinched. So they boogied it into the location and they dropped it. And they're like, well, I don't have that. Like, is that what's happening? You have someone who's the local White House drug dealer. Was it a drug dealer? That's a real thing. It's like, oh, hey, I'm going up for this happened right before the big vacation to the lakes for the family. So it's like, hey, we're going to the lakes. I'd love me some Coke. Do you think you could score me a bag of Coke? Oh yeah, no, you know. It's like everybody wants to get in with the people who are in. The peripherals, you know, the looky-loos or the latchers-ons. Oh yeah, no, I got you. Then all of a sudden, oh, here comes security. Like, oh, ditch. I don't know, man. I have no idea. I just think it's like the craziest shit, though. And it's not just the craziest because it happened. It's craziest because of the way it's being covered in the news. Kind of like it's not a big deal at all. Now, maybe it's not a big deal. I've always found in like general conversations that people that participate in the scrutinized behavior tend to assume that everybody participates in that scrutinized behavior, therefore not a big deal. Like, someone was talking about something the other day. It was like, oh, there were people were talking about how the lying on a form when you purchase a firearm pistol, lying about your drug use. And I was having a conversation with a bunch of people once about that, and one of the people in the thing was like, well, the person obviously is probably living in, I think they live in a state where quote unquote some drugs are quote unquote legal, even though federally all the illegal drugs are still like whatever. So when you're filling out that form, if you live in a state where, like, we'll just say like marijuana, if you live in a state where marijuana is legal, but you're buying a firearm and you fill out on the form that you have not done drugs, you're a felon. That's a felony. Because you're doing drugs that are federally legal. And the person, like, this is where my conversation is going. The person was like, well, everybody does that. So, because in their mind, the people they hang out with all do the state legally sanctioned drugs. They're not breaking the law. So in their mind, everybody does that. Therefore, everybody says, I don't do drugs when they fill out the forms. Therefore, everybody, what am I doing here? I gotta get this mix right. 1.5 cups. I may have over-cupped that. One, hold please. So I assume that like all the people on the news are all coke heads. This is my assumption. They're all, well, not coke heads, but like, you know, 4th of July coke users, whatever. Therefore, not a big deal. And why is that, like, you know, not a big deal? It's not a big deal. Hold please, I gotta get my water. Hold. It's just funny. I mean, the what about is, I'd be like, what about, you know, blah, 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 but like, let's put our imagination caps on for a second. Let's go to the magical world of make-believe. Are you guys ready? We're going to the magical world of make-believe. I'm going to fill this other thing of water up here. I'll take you over to the old dirty sink. We sit it there. Get the little wedge in so the aim's right. And it fills. Oh, kind of. Thought empty. I've been filling bottles all morning. We're going to the magical world of make-believe. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Get in your time machine and go backwards in time. We'll go all the way back in time to where the evil orange man was president. Imagine if the evil orange man was president and they found cocaine. I mean, just do the pretend in your head. How would that, like, just pretend, play pretend. How would that have worked? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? There would probably be calls for removal of office if the culprit wasn't found, because it would be assumed it was him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even being like, oh, that's not right. I'm just being straight up how it would have been. Like, that's how it would have been. I mean, does anyone old enough to remember when Bill Clinton, they were all talking about him smoking marijuana and, like, he didn't inhale? Do you guys remember that? Dude, that is really runny. Why is it so runny? I'm pretty sure I did 1.5 cups. I tried my best. Whatever. I don't know. It's just funny to me. Like, I feel like I've been saying this shit's gonna, like, it can't get crazier for, like, well, it's 2023. Like, many years now. Like, the years are flying by. But, like, it's just like, well, I can't get crazier. Whoa, hold my beer, hold my Bud Light. You know, it just keeps getting crazier. Like how can it? How can? Like I'm just trying to come up with like what. When the transgender was jiggling their tits on the White House lawn with their top off, I just like, it's like what. The only thing left is like sex with animals and like like shit that's like in snuff films and shit happening at the White House. Like what else is there? Like literally, what else is there? I do not know what else there is. What possibly else could happen at the White House that's more fucking degenerate and more fucking criminal in behavior than what's literally happened in the last month? It's just like that doesn't even make sense. Like, I guess you could have like a blowjob competition on the White House lawn, or an oral, sorry, I should say, an oral sex competition, or a butthole licking competition. Like, it's just baffling to me. And I'm not even like a pearl clutching goody. Like, I'm just a regular person. But it's like, I was always under the impression that like there was like certain shit that was just like, eh, you know, those are the good dishes, you know. Keep the paper plates and the regular dishes for everything else. But like, there's a time where you use the good stuff, and like, I always kind of thought like, for whatever reason, like the government White House was like where the good dishes were used. Like that's like, even if you have to at least pretend, right? Like, oh, rise above, you know, like. Yeah, even if you don't like the quote unquote president of the United States, you're supposed to be like, well, it's still the president, right? Like you're supposed to kind of, it's still supposed to be kind of happening like that, but it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what the fuck? It's bonkers. We're living in Bonkersville. I guess what do they call it? Clown World? Welcome to Clown World. Is that how it works? That's all right. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out. All right, so we got the rival vintage thin waffle maker. Oh, dog's here. Should we film dog? Everyone's like, "Where's the dog?" Oh, dog's leaving. Oh, there's my dirty socks and the stuff I swept out of the way. See you later, dog. Oh, I dropped an ice cube on the floor. That's what that towel's for. That was an ice cube soaker upper. Oh, yowzer. That appears to be ready to go. Excelente! All right. Oh, no, not excellent. Overfilled. I used the right cup. Oh, it's a little liquidier than normal. That's fine. That's fine. It's gonna be okay. Alright, what other batshit crazy things can I talk about? Oh, I got a good one. Man alive. The shit that I have to put up with. So, this is... God, I wish this wasn't true, but it's so fucking true. Oh, that's not gonna work out. I just got that wet. Smaller funnel, please. So... I got this like insane construction project in front of my house going on right now with like very limited parking for the neighborhood, which is part of the gig, right? It's just part of how it goes. But like, I still have to take my trash out, and so I took my trash out the other day. But because of the holiday weekend, it was like I didn't know which day I was supposed to take my trash out or how I was supposed to do it. So I took my first trash out on the first supposed to be day, which was a Monday for me. And then I found out, well, because the holiday was Tuesday, my trash was supposed to go out Wednesday. Even though the holiday's Tuesday, I take my trash out Monday. I figured if you take it out Monday, you're good. If you take it out Tuesday, you wait a day, I guess. That's what I assumed. Like someone asked me, what day's trash day for me? It's Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's Monday. My trash is Monday. I gather trash. Trash goes out Monday. When I wake up, trash is empty. I don't know when they come. But apparently, technically, it's Tuesday. But they do it in... anyways. And then someone pointed out to me the new recycling program where they do recycling every other week started this month, and the first recycling was this cycle. So the powers that be decided what they would do is they would start a new recycling program that's only every other week and start it on a holiday weekend where everyone's day is delayed. Perfect, perfect. So then I ended up taking my recycling down because it's going to be 2 weeks till recycling goes, so I got to go. So that'd have been like Wednesday? Was that Wednesday? or Tuesday night, I guess. Was it? Yeah, Tuesday night. I took my recycling down. It's like, that's what you got to do, right? And then, I did that. I wake up, like I do like every day of the week. I wake up, and then after I'd been awake for a little bit, I'm like doing my thing, and I hear some talking down below my driveway, and I hear garbage cans rolling on the concrete. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's happening? Someone's down rolling my garbage cans around. Like, whatever, because, like, I have to put my garbage cans out, because, like, in my town, the machine drives up and they grab it with the grabber. So I can't leave it tucked around, so I have to put it out in the parking area because people are parking in my driveway, which I'm trying to be a team player, like, because they need a place to park, that's fine, but I gotta put my garbage can out. So, like, basically I'm at, fuck your parking, I gotta have my garbage go out. So, like, sorry. Like, where I live and where I pay my taxes and all that in my driveway, my garbage can gets priority. So I looked out, and I literally saw my neighbor. I literally saw my neighbor talking with someone as just moments after the sound of the rolling. So I know which neighbor was involved. I didn't see them physically do it, but they were talking with somebody. But anyways, when I left that day, I rolled down to where they moved my garbage cans to. The garbage was empty, but my recycling was still full. And in the meantime, the recycling had came and gone. I heard the truck out front, and I looked, and they picked up all the other recycling in the area, and then they left. Excuse me, bro. I gotta get this through. So my illustrious neighbors did me a favor and moved my recycling so it wouldn't get picked up. It's like, really? Is that what we're doing now? Like, so like, of course, I had to call and leave them. I've called. I've talked to them. I said, yo, I don't know what's going on, but I need my shit picked up because you're not coming for 2 weeks. So like, please come back and pick up my stuff. Oh, we'll put you on the list of the missed. Oh, then okay. And I've called, left a message. So, and I'm not calling anymore. I told them, you know who I am. Well, today's Sunday. My recycling's still sitting in the parking spot. I'm going to leave that down there. They can either throw it in the trash. I don't give a fuck what they do, but I'm not taking that back up. Like, that's such bullshit. Sorry if I sound like a whiny bitch, but, like, there's something about people who think that they have the right to fuck with my shit to benefit themselves. It really, really bothers me. It's like, dude, seriously, stop fucking with my shit. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that fucking garbage can down there forever. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm so boiled over with, like, and it's like the people that are like having we have to park. They've been dealing with this construction project for this season only, and they're like all like, oh, we're just so sick of it. I've been dealing with it for 2 fucking years, and they think, oh, it's so tough for me. It's like, oh yeah, try dealing with it in your fucking front yard and having people fuck with your shit constantly. It's like, Jesus Christ, if you're going to be the kind of person that's going to do that, at least look inside the can and see what's fucking empty if you move it before you move it. My God. And the crazy part is, like, the truck came like fucking 4 minutes after they moved the can. Because I heard it. And when I left, I saw the cans. Like, there's cans 20 feet away from my can that are empty. And then the super crazy part is someone, I don't know who came by, and then they closed all the neighbors' recycling, so they look closed to, like, this is just speculation on my behalf. I assume it's the same person. I assume they realized that they fucked up by moving a full fucking can so it didn't get fucking emptied. So then, like, they closed the other ones. I mean, I don't even know what's happening right now. I just, like, it's just baffling to me. Like, the big problem I have is I didn't see who physically moved my cans. I just saw the one person in my yard turn around talking to somebody. So I'm going with it's either the... what's happening here? I got a pause going on. Okay. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Reboot. Play. Alright, that's better. Reboot. Play. Toasted. Hi, Elveshelves. I like waffles. No, you're doing it wrong. Are those waffles? What are waffles? What's waffles? What are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, anyways, my recycling's still sitting at the end of the fucking driveway. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not sure, like, the garbage company is just like, oh, we'll put you on the miss list. It's like, oh, yeah, no, I've been there before. I'm like trying to just to get a hold of those people because, like, here's the other thing I realized. When they replaced all the cans in the whole town, why is this not, sorry. The old cans had the goddamn telephone number on the side, so when you had a problem, you could just look at your garbage can and be like, fuck you. Well, the new company is like, no, we don't want people calling. Will the dog eat waffles? I don't remember. Hold on, doggy. You want some waffles? I don't know if you'll eat them or not. Affirmative. Like, even just to call the company to, like, say, hey, you stupid fuckers, you know, and just so everybody knows, this is a thing I pay for. Like, I pay to have the recycling picked up. Like, I'm not trying to get free recycling. Like, it's part of my bill. I pay these motherfuckers. Just to call to say, hey, you know, you made an attempt. I know because you got the garbage cans that were 20 feet away, but you didn't get mine, and I don't know who the fuck's moved my can. Like, sorry. I wish I did, but I don't. Can you just come get the thing at my house? Because, like, I'm not dragging that fucking can back up my driveway. I don't know if it shows on the videos, but my driveway is a few hundred feet long. Like, I know a lot of people don't believe me when I say it's like hundreds of feet long, but my driveway is hundreds of feet long. Hundreds of feet long. So yeah, I don't drag full cans back up. You dropped some popcorn? Yeah, I did. True facts. The dog doesn't like popcorn, so she doesn't eat it. Someone needs to pick that up. We'll sweep it to the corner there. It's the maid's week off. And popcorn was last night, so it hasn't been down there very long. Calm down. Sometimes when you're watching the movie and the popcorn, you just kind of don't have time. Any hoosies. So that's fun. I'm trying to think of the other, like, amazingly good times I've had recently. So, would have been like Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. I was like, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to leave my house, right? Like, I'm going to leave. Because that's a normal thing to do, like, just to leave your house. And what a normal person does when they leave their house is they just leave their house. Well, I tried to leave my house. Couldn't leave. The machine they used to pave the street was being removed. And the only way they could do that, because they've got shit on the public road, right? Because that's what you do, is you store your fucking shit on the public road, like piles of rocks and other detritus, which makes the public road, which is a Cadillac-wide 2-lane road, a barely big enough road for an 18-wheeler. The 18-wheeler had to park right there. Yeah, I couldn't leave. And I'm not a fucking lunatic, you know, like, by the time I was leaving, like, they already had the 18, so, like, this machine's huge. It's like a 100,000-pound machine, $700,000, the guy told me. It has hydraulic rams that come down and picks the whole machine up, and then they drive an 18-wheeler underneath. And when I came down my driveway, they were to the point where the 18-wheeler was in position, and they were getting ready to start adjusting. So I'm not going to be like, hey, could you undo all this so I can leave? I was like, well, actually, I just sat there because, like, what the fuck? And then they kind of got it positioned on the thing, whatever, right? I mean, it was pretty fascinating, so I was just watching. And they got it sitting on the truck, bed, trailer thing, but, like, I guess sketchy would not be a word that would be inaccurate to describe this thing sitting on the 18-wheeler bed, because, like, it was definitely bigger than the trailer. So I'm kind of like, I mean, they're obviously very, very hyper laser focused on what they're doing. So they had no idea I was there. So I kind of wander over and I was like, hey, it looks like you guys are about got this thing loaded up. How soon till you're in a position where it's not sketchy anymore and you can maybe let me leave? And they're kind of like, oh, you need to go? And I was like, well, you know, yeah, I'd like to leave. But I mean, I'm not trying to, like, put anybody's life in danger with some sketchy ass shit that's like, I'm just not willing to do that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and scream and raise my hands and flail and scream, you're blocking the road! Like, and the operator of the 18-wheeler was kind of like, I guess I could pull forward, and I was like, well, is that safe? Like, can you actually move that thing until it's like secured? And like the head dude was like, that's probably not a good idea. And I was like, this isn't going to be like a forever thing here. And I was like, no, it'll just be a little bit longer. I was like, cool, that's fine. And I mean, I guess I don't really know what I was expecting. Just maybe like make sure it wasn't going to fall off. And then like maybe move the 18-wheeler a little bit so I could squeak through. No. Fully strapped her on. And when I got to leave, it was with the 18-wheeler left. It was probably blocking the road. It was probably blocking the road for about 45 minutes. Probably blocked me in for about 25 minutes. Whatever. I mean, you got to be a team player, right? It's just... I don't know why that pile of rock had to be in the public road. That goes to a public road. Like, that just seems to me like that could have not been there. I mean, they could have maybe, like, left enough room for people to leave because, like... You would think an 18-wheeler could just be in one lane, and then the other lane could be for the traffic to go in and out of the public roads to all the public roads that are open to the public, right? Is that irresponsible for me to suggest that? Because in my mind, that's exactly how it would go. Because in my mind, there's no other way that it could possibly go, right? But don't worry, I got some good videos. The other funny thing when I was sitting there, because like I was just kind of shooting the shit with the guy, because like, what do I got to do but sit there and do nothing? He just sit there watching. He's like, so your neighbor's real like, she's like, she told me that you've been videotaping us and she thinks that you're doing something malicious. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't really care what that lady thinks. And he's like, yeah, she thinks you're like gathering evidence against us. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing because I'll do whatever I want to. But yeah, this is interesting. He's like, yeah, no, it doesn't bother us. And I was like, oh, I'm glad it doesn't bother you because I really don't care if it bothers you because I am going to do it anyways because, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't need your permission to do what I do. I mean, I said it very politely. And then he was like, yeah, someone said, like, you're just doing it for your friends and family. And I was like, yeah, my friends and family watch. And I put it on the internet. And he kind of looked at me and I was like, yep. I talked to your boss, and he said, as long as I don't videotape anything sketchy, he doesn't have a problem with it, which I think is funny because I'll videotape whatever I want. You shouldn't be doing sketchy shit anyways. Yeah, that's a true story, kids. That actually happened. My neighbor thinks I'm gathering evidence against the construction company. Well, it'd only be evidence if they did something wrong. And if they did do something wrong, I guess I would have some evidence, wouldn't I? Weird. That's real weird. People are goddamn crazy. You think I would? Oh, please, sir, don't stand in your own yard and film what's in front of your yard. We would appreciate it. Like, give me a break, dude. Like, GTFO. Get the fuck out with that bullshit. Whatever. So yeah, I'm going to make some of this more here. Oh, the dog's back. The dog wants more. And the internet is noticing my dirty floor. All right. Well, if you'll notice, we used the foot vacuum. Oh, hold on. Under the stove. Yep, that happened. Whatever. I mean, the rodents and varmints that live in my house have to eat something, dude. I mean, they're not coming in because there's food. They're coming in because this is where they live. They just would like some food. You know, I just realized, Jesus Christ, I haven't had any coffee yet. I'm trying to figure out like why I am running at like 3/4 speed right now. Oh my god. That's right. Kobayashi. Anybody remember where that's from? Anybody? Oh, the dog just lost her grip. She's laying on the floor like a squid. Are you doing your best interpretation of a squid there, Berta? Are you a squid? We will not be filming that. She's fine. Her feet just slip. She's just hanging out. Just hanging out. Keep your eyes on that coffee for me. I gotta get some harf and harf. Oh man, so I'm trying to think of whether just absolute insanity. I'm sure there was more. All right, beast. Let's get you up. Let's get you up. Come on. Yeah. Get on the rug. On the rug. On the rug. There you go. See how much easier life is on the rug? Jesus. And then instantly off the rug it almost wrecks. All right. Good talk. That's a good talk, dog. Just like, okay. Good times. Oh, man. All right. So what's next? I think we're doing another waffle real quick. I do have these strudel things I would like to show the internet, but like I don't want to show you how many I've eaten because it's kind of embarrassing. So I'm going to pull one out off camera just to show you. These are baked at the local we've got a grocery store that's got a bakery. Look at these bad boys. Oops, let's seal it back up. This is a strawberry cream cheese strudel bite. Look at this thing. Oh man. These are dangerous because they're so good. Now, I wonder if the G-Wagon could crawl. Yeah. Which pile? Which pile of rock? There's about 15 of them, dude. There's so much rock down in front of my house right now. There was a literal mountain of rock in my driveway the other day. And when I say a mountain, I mean a mountain. A goddamn mountain. A literal mountain. On the poured concrete part. Like where all the cars are parking crazily, they put a pile of rock there because why not? So like this giant pile of rock is sitting there, which literally only leaves like, it kind of leaves one place to park, and then like I can still technically get out, but like it's not, I have to like do like a down the driveway, hard right, hard left if a person parks there. That's where my recycling sits now. Yeah, see how that works? Because there was room for 3 cars to park there, but then a pile of rock, well, 3 to 4. But then the other day, someone parked 2 cars there, and to do it, they drove the car up into my yard. So far up, the back tires were off the concrete. It's like the whole car was in my. So I'm just like, is that really happening? Like, a human being made that decision. They thought to themselves, you know what I need to do? I need to drive my car so far up into this dude's fucking yard. It's just like, what the fuck, man? Well, there's no place else to park. Well, yeah, I get it, you know, but like, there's the, yeah, whatever. I guess. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Let's just do whatever the fuck we want to. And who gives a shit? I truly feel like that's where we're at now. It's just, everyone just does whatever. Oh, here we go. Missed some shit, sorry. Getting ready for rag-brie! We doing a rag-brie! Yep, no, good times. Oh man, that just completely, yep, there's a mess. So I definitely wrote a note that says what size scoop to make it. It says 2/3 cup. I definitely have a 2/3 cup, and it's definitely not the right measurement, which is definitely a problem. And I'm definitely not happy about that. Let's make some Gatorade. Let's make us some Gatorade over here, kids. Gatorade! Gatorade! With the old scoop. I think it's 1 scoop for me. 32 ounces? Oh, yeah. Oh, they closed the boat ramp because you got to dip your goddamn tires in the boat ramp section, dude. Ragbri, you dip 1 tire in the river, and then you ride your bike across the whole state. Then you dip your tire in the other river, and then you know your bike literally drove across the entire state. So they use the boat ramp for people to do the tire dipping, man. Come on now. Just give it the program. All right. Let's add the water. Let's add the water. Excuse me, doggy. Oh, Berta. Yes, I realize that you want more to eat. Can you please let me through, dog? You are just 100% in the way. Dog's hungry. She's hasn't had her breakfast made for her yet because I learned something new today. That's a wrap. Day's over. No more learning. But yeah, that's the tradition is you dip your tire in. They've had problems in the past where they start Ragbri at a town where the river doesn't actually make it to the town. They've come up with some pretty amazing bullshit fucking deals. They've they've pumped water from the river and then like put it in a trough and then said, hey, this is river water, or like, I don't know, all sorts of stupid bullshit they do. Because, you know, like everything else in life, as long as you pretend hard enough, it's fine. Just pretend. We're just going to live in pretend world. Right? As long as you pretend hard enough. We just live in pretend world. Bird, you want more waffles? Hold on. I'll give you more waffles. Hold on. You grumpy ass dog. She's just looking at me all pissed off. She's like, those don't taste like bacon and eggs to me. Well, she left, so that's the point. Alright. So the rest of these waffles are just going to be for the reheating and eating at a later date. So we will put them on that plate. Or actually, I usually use a wire rack, but didn't do that, so not doing that. Trying to think what else is crappening right now. Oh, dog's back. These are their grip. Jeez. Got a lunge. It's not an official eating of food if there's not a lunge involved. Hold on. I'll give you a big one here. Yeah, chomp that down, you little beast. You little snarling beast. All right, so gotta get that mixed. Where's my other lid, bros? There's my lid, bro. Try to think what else amazing, eye-opening, interesting things are available for this week's rant. I don't even know anymore. I'm excited to see what crazy shit happens this week, though. It should be fun. There should be all sorts of crazy shit. Oh, how about I don't film what I'm doing here, kids? Just about dropped my iPad. That would have sucked. Alright, that's some laminade. Laminade! Gadrad! Alright, what else is there? Oh, this is fascinating right here. You may say to yourself, how much of the laminade and the Gatorade did you drink from last week? Well, at least one of each, right? Let's check the, we still have a full Gatorade and that much of the laminade. So we'll rotate those to the front, and then these will be in the reserve rear. Isn't that nice? Isn't it good to have a system? What I found is that lemonade is good with like a Sprite. You get a Sprite going, and then you pour that lemon in there. Ooh, that's fire. Okay. The waffle extraction. What are you making? What's a waffle? What are you doing? Oh God. Done. Oh, that's a effing mess right there, kids. Okay. What else is new? Let me. I thought about. I should start writing this shit down. That way, I'll have a list of all the effed up things that I had to deal with. Did I get you tools for the garage? Funny you should ask. This week there were no new tools for the garage, unfortunately. I did go one tool down this week. Show the dog. Hold, please. Dog. Hello, dog. Are you ready for your waffle? So this is pretty interesting. I was cleaning up, and I needed to blow some sawdust out of the way. So I was using my leaf blower, the plug-in one from the great company called Works, right? And it's like, all right, things working good. It's blowing like it's supposed to. I've had it for a few years. Just blows, blows, blows. And I'm blowing along, and all of a sudden the RPMs change. It's like, woo! And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just smoke pours out the end. And it's like, whoa, that's weird. Because, like, it's electric. How is smoke pouring out the end, but yet it's still running? Because, like, generally speaking, this is a general rule, electric things tend to only light on fire and smoke when they no longer are operating, but yet still plugged in, right? Still got the power. You got, like, an arc or something's happening, and, like, you got a fire going. But, like, shut it off. It's like, whoa, that was smoke coming out of there. And I turn it back on, and more smoke. It's like, holy shit, something's wrong. The RPMs have changed. Something's weird. My brain couldn't figure out. It smelled terrible. So I brought it home, put it on the bench, tore it apart, and this is the truth. This is what happened. You ready for this? If you ever look inside an electric motor, and I'm not going to use the right words here, you got the spinny part where the brushes touch. Makes the magical shit happen. Turns the electricity into a spinny motion with the magnets. And that the part that spins is supported on both ends by bearings. Well, the lower bearings are good. The upper bearing, which was a bearing press fit on the shaft, they had put a rubber boot over that for a vibration isolator, and then slipped that into the bracket that held it in place. Well, what happened was my bearing completely seized, 100%, and was just spinning the shaft inside the rubber boot isolator. With the RPMs that thing was blowing at, it just started to like combust the rubber boot. So it was rubber boot smoke shooting out the end, right? And I'm just like, really? The bearing? Like, I never had a bearing seize like that. Like, when I say seize, I mean that bearing is not moving anymore. It's done. So it's like, well, if I could figure out how to rip that fucking pressed bearing on, that was probably pressed on with a fucking hydraulic press. And maybe, I don't know if the rubber boot's still good because it spun inside and it's all jacked up and was like lit on fire, kind of. If I could just fix those two things. Yeah, exactly. I just killed the ozone layer. If I could just fix those two things, my perfectly good operating high-end super blower leaf blower would be nothing would be wrong with it. So that's exciting. Yeah, what did I hear somebody say? I'm talking about like the electric cars, like the Teslas and stuff, and like how the better than everybody else people who drives those, because they're obviously better than everybody else, like to point out is how low their CO2 footprint is, right? Because, well, for a myriad of reasons, but one of them is because they just use electricity, and electricity comes from the wall. Okay. Someone brought up the point of, well, how much CO2 is released when you die in a fiery wreck and your car catches on fire and burns for like, what do they burn for, like 12 hours? You can't put them out yet. It's like, I saw a thing the other day because like, it was the week that the sub that didn't make it, and there was 4 people on that. That same week, a Tesla got in an accident and 2 people got barbecued inside, right? So the question was, these 2 people got barbecued in an electric car, but these 4 people got compressed in a submarine. is the submarine 4 times as sad as the 2 people, or is it just half? You know, how does that work? Like if they drove their car off a cliff and went down to the bottom of the ocean and got crushed, would it be this like half as sad? Like so that was the only. But then someone was like, "Well, how much CO2 was released when that Tesla lit on fire?" That's the real question. Because the fire is so intense with those lithium batteries that they had to literally. Oh, sorry, 5 people. So it's a little more than double the sadness. But to put that fire out, they literally had to bring a backhoe out and dig a goddamn hole in the ground and then fill the hole with water and then shove the car, I assume with the barbecued bodies, into the hole. That was the only way to put the fire out. That's how they put them out. Because they will not, you can't sprinkle water on that shit and put the fires out. Like they rage burn. But the question was how much CO2 is released? And are you still environmental when you die in a fiery ball in your electric car? Yeah, but those are migrants, dude. I mean, what did the ticket cost to get on that ship? That's the real question. Because the Tesla's not like you got to see the point that I'm making here is there's a level of it's what is it the better than you scale, like you're here, and then if you buy a Tesla you're here, so you're better. But then I assume if you buy a ticket to a submarine you're up here, right? Am I getting my scale right? So there's you or me or whoever, and then there's an electric car, better, and there's I got 250,000 for a boat ride, better. See how that works? I'm not saying a migrant boat isn't as good as you or me, but maybe they're not because they're migrants. I don't know. Never been a migrant. I'm not totally sure how the I'm better than you scale works. Dude, I'll tell you. Well, this is probably not a thing for most people, but I'll share an experience with the group. I'm having a very eye-opening experience. I am currently reading a book. When I say read, it's a book on tape called like what is it? Oh, I can't tell you right now. I'm on thing. It's like The People's History of the United States by Jeffrey Zahn. I think the book is like 30 hours or some shit. It's insane. But it's a recap of the United States from before the United States to what they call the present time, which I don't know when the book was written, but whatever. The quote unquote present time. Oh, I put too much. I should have done that. Why did I do the extra? And I'm currently at the turn of the century, the 1900s, the late 1800s, early 1900s history of the United States. And I will tell you, I have learned more shit about this country that I had no fucking idea about. At the turn of the century, there were no fucks given. That shit was out of hand, dude. Like, if you think, like, the last couple of years, like, the George Floyd protests and all, you think that was a big deal, dude? You get your time machine and go back to the late 1800s, dude. That shit was fucking crazy. And when I say crazy, I'm talking, like, the late 1800s, one year there was 1,500 strikes in the United States in one year. Like, groups of people going on strike. 1,500 strikes. Right? We're on strike. Picket sign, right? 1,500 in one year. Imagine that. And the way they broke those strikes up was they'd come in with guns and they'd just fucking and they would just mow the fucking people down. Yeah, that's right. That happened in the United States. Did it all the time. All the time. And then the people that got mowed down would get mad. They'd come back and they'd fucking murder back the people who mowed. Like, oh my God, dude. My eyes are wide open reading this shit. I'm like, dude, I had no fucking idea how crazy that was. It was just unfucking real. Like, the number of people that died just working their jobs, like, oh yeah, 30,000 people died in one year working the railroads. 30,000. Like, 30,000 died? Yeah, dead bodies. They dug 30,000 holes, put bodies in the holes, and put dirt on top because they were working their job. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of people that died in one year just doing work. It's like, well, that doesn't count the people that got hurt, too. There's also people got hurt. It's just like, what the fuck? It's crazy. It is the craziest shit ever. I mean, I kind of knew it was nuts back then, but, like, I didn't realize how nuts. Like the strikes and the protests and just the murdering. They call them insurrections because the insurrectionists would show up and just burn the judge's house down, or they would, like, attack the mayor, and then like the National Guard would come and just wholesale murder the crowd, and the crowd would get mad and form a militia and just murder the National Guard back. It's like, whoa, that's nuts, dude. Like, if one of them things happened once, like, the whole fucking, everyone would lose their goddamn minds over it. But, like, that shit was happening, like, on the regular. Like, it was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Just wholesaling each other. Shit's crazy, dude. I had no idea. I had no idea at all how nuts it used to be in this country. And like how crooked, like you think shit's crooked now? Like it was so crooked back then. Like the way that the people in power, how corrupt it was just well. I mean, it may be the same amount of corruption, but like the thing with it back then, like there wasn't really, like, how do you describe it? They definitely didn't have the internet, right? And they definitely had no TV. So like the only way you could really like get caught is if like you were so stupid that you did it in a manner that like you just were absolutely caught at. So like they'd do some shit like, what was the one? There was a famous incident where like a guy had a building built, right? He built this building to have his manufacturing put in there, right? Multi-story building. They moved all the heavy equipment in, and then the building collapsed and it killed a bunch of people. So there was like a lawsuit. And they brought the architect in, and he's like, yeah, no, the guy never told us he was putting that heavy equipment in. The building was not built to those standards, so like it obviously would collapse. So like, you know, if you want the building to hold up, you got to design it to hold the weight, whatever. And the judge was like, well, we don't think the guy told you to build that building not to the standards of what he was going to put it on purpose, so no criminal liability, you're free to go. So like, he didn't mean to. He didn't mean to hire someone to build a building that was going to hold the equipment that he was going to put in the building that would result killing people. He didn't mean to do that, so he's free to go. Like, that's how it used to be back in the day. Pretty intense. It's a good gig if you can get it. And then, like, the people, like, so, like, towards the end of the 1800s, the 1900s, it seems like the people started getting their shit together because they were kind of having enough of all that. I don't know. It's just, like, it's really interesting to me. Like, when a terrible thing happens and people get all crybaby and start freaking out. Like, the other day I was to the part of the story where, which I thought was interesting because, like, you know, I lived through the September 11th attacks that happened in New York. Like, I remember that. I found it interesting to find out that there was another time in New York's history. Are you ready for this? Where there was a building that was on fire and people had to jump out of the building to not burn to death. And I guess it was far more crazy than the 9/11 thing because they went back through the reports. I believe it was a textile factory that caught on fire, and the textile company, despite the laws saying you can't lock the doors must open outward. They had doors that opened inward. They locked the doors, and then this thing lit on fire. And the fire trucks ladders didn't go high enough, and blah blah blah. They can only go 7 stories. And some anyways. The stories at the time where people were jumping out of the building with their hair on fire. Hundreds and hundreds of people were jumping out of this building. A literal skyscraper on fire, jumping out to their deaths, and hundreds of people died. It's like, what? Now I get, 9/11, like thousands died. It was a much bigger building, multiple buildings, but like, I don't ever remember hearing anyone talk about like, oh yeah, no, we've definitely had people jumping to their death from fiery buildings in New York. We're used to this. Like, that's happened before. Nope, don't remember that ever. Don't remember anyone talking about that. That's news to me, but that actually happened. They actually had people jumping out holding hands. Like, they made packs right there on the edge of the building as the building was burning, and there was no way to get out because the doors were locked. They had people jumping down the elevator shafts to try to get out, jumping out the windows. It said the sounds of the bodies plumping on the ground was just nuts because, like, I don't really know the numbers from 9/11, how many actually jumped. I know a bunch did, but I think the majority of people that passed away on that day just died in the whatever, like the debris field. But that, oddly enough, the story I'm talking about from the 1800s, late 1800s, that building did not collapse. I don't think. That one didn't. weirdly enough. Anyways, it's a pretty interesting book. Pretty interesting. It sounded like it was a good time to be alive if you were super rich, though. I mean, that was you could make some. You could make some profits back then. Is the best way to describe that. You could definitely make some profits. Oh, you didn't like that last bit of waffle, huh, dog? All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. I think. Let's do the monologue here. Crooked camera. Oh, what's going on with that? What is happening? Ugh, what? Hey now. Easy. Easy. Look at my cabinets, you weirdos. All right. I don't know if I can. Yeah, there's no way for me to look up that. I think it was Jeffrey Zahn. People's History of America. I think that's what it was. Or the United States of America. Pretty interesting. I mean, the best way I could sum it up is people dying used to be pretty common. That used to be a regular thing. Just regular. And, yeah, whatever. It's mind-boggling to me. All right, well, I don't know how much more I'm going to ramble on here. I made my hour. I got to make the dog her actual breakfast. She is definitely looking at her plate area thinking, why is there no breakfast in there? So, thanks for the those of you that made it. If you missed the live stream, there's always next Sunday, I guess. Yeah, I'm eating breakfast, so it's going to happen. Peace! Don't forget to sweep the popcorn off your floor. Eat that later. I'm out.